Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Jim Carrey Project. I'm your host, Brian Kondrach, and with me, as always, is...
Carrie Grant.
Hey, today, this project is where we go through all of Jim Carrey's movies from start to finish. We're going through the 80s. We're still in the 80s right now, and today's episode is The Deadpool. The Deadpool came out in...
Not the one you're thinking of.
Not the newest one. The Deadpool came out it was released on July 13th, 1988. It was directed by Buddy Van Horn, screenplay by Steve Sharon. It was based on characters from blah, blah, blah. It's the Dirty Harry series, basically. This is the fifth episode in the Dirty Harry series.
Okay.
So this was starring Clint Eastwood, Patricia Clarkson, Liam Neeson, Evan Kim, and Jim Carrey was in there for about 2 minutes. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. First and foremost, what did you think of the movie?
I liked it. I mean, this is not usually like my genre of movie of, Dirty Harry type film.
Police whodunit kind of.
Not normally
action.
the one I go to if I'm just like home alone, just wanting to watch something.
Yeah.
It's usually like a guy making me.
Yeah.
Let's watch this. Okay,
Yeah, okay,
but
right.
I did enjoy it. I really thought, I don't know, the whole killing and all that kind of stuff sometimes, gets to me. But the story I thought was really good, and I didn't figure it out for a long time.
Yeah, it was really good. I have a whodunit and thriller kind of suspense. You did not really know who it was, and I think they did the writing on that was really good.
I thought so too. Like, I definitely kept my interest the whole time, and I do fall asleep with movies like this sometimes. But I felt interested the whole time.
Good,
so I thought that was good.
Had you seen a Dirty Harry movie before? Any of the Clint Eastwood stuff?
If I have, it's probably parts of it. Again, maybe because I could have fallen asleep. I don't know. Or, back in the day, I think that a lot of these were like, they were on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the 80s, I felt like they put stuff on sometimes like that. I don't know. You'd have to tell me what they are, but I don't necessarily think I have.
I think Pink Cadillac is another one that we may end up watching. It does have Jim Carrey in it.
Really?
I'm not sure. It might just be another.
So wait, he was in 2?
Dirty Harry has been in like 5 different movies, but I think Jim Carrey might show up in... It's another Clint Eastwood movie, so I don't know if he shows up in it as... he's in it for like literally 15 seconds.
Sure.
But I don't know if it's actually a Dirty Harry movie or not. This was my first Dirty Harry movie, and never seen one before, and like understanding like where Dirty Harry came from, it definitely was a good starting point. It wasn't the best one according to reviews. So you hadn't seen the other Dirty Harry? I've never seen really. The only major Clint Eastwood movies I've seen was the one where he sat on his porch and like the neighborhood was kind of going to hell, and he was out there. Gran Torino. But I hadn't really watched a whole lot of. I really hadn't watched a whole lot of other Dirty or Clint Eastwood movies. Right. I've seen the stuff that he's directed, but.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was kind of thinking, this is his movie, but I guess it really wasn't. This was sort of before he was directing.
Yeah, this was directed
or maybe around that time.
Buddy Van Horn. I think he directed it.
But or even like produced, or you think he was like a producer on it or anything like that? He was just straight up. He's just the actor. Yeah. So it's different because we think of him more as a like director, maybe producer.
He's got behind the camera instead of in front of the camera. Yeah. So I thought this was a really good movie. Like Clint Eastwood's performance is, it's Dirty Harry. He gives us some of the one-liners that we all like know and love. Opinions are like buttholes, except different word.
Well, that's what I said. I said, well, was that a saying before he said it, or did he make that a saying, or did this movie make it a saying?
Probably brought it into popular culture after this movie. It's like everyone's trying to be Dirty Harry.
It's always kind of cool when you like see where. Something like that originated,
Looks like your luck's run out. The fortune cookie part.
That's true.
So
Clint.
It is. 44 Magnum. So let's talk about Jim Carrey's role in this.
Okay.
So we see Jim Carrey right off the bat. Pretty early, yeah. Pretty much not. We get the setup scene of the guy writing the list of people, but then we cut right over into Jim Carrey kind of in this moment. I'm like, what is he doing? He's got this glam rock kind of stuff on. We find out that he's lip syncing to Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. It's like both of us were a little taken aback by it. It's like, is he meant to be a terrible singer, or is he meant to be a terrible artist?
Yeah, I kind of got it felt like a what's it called, a music video right away to me. It was a music video, but it wasn't a music video. So I was like, okay, well, what's that? And then he is a singer.
Yeah.
But
in real life? No, in the movie. Yeah, in the movie he's playing. I was like, yeah.
Well, it could be.
In the movie, he's playing a famous musician,
yes,
rock musician named Johnny Squares.
Right.
Johnny Square, which is kind of funny for a musician name to be such
Square.
a lame name.
Square.
But this is the moment, this scene, and what we see Jim Carrey playing as is this rock guy who's kind of off of his edge, off of his he's got drug problems, right. And you see it started to affect him. And then we find out that it's this music video with this slasher flick that's being involved in it.
They want the music video.
Yeah, it's a tie-in together of a music video.
You needed a music video, and I needed it in my film, so let's make it work together.
And we do it. And so he's playing this drug.
I wonder why he needed it.
I know, what kind of
failing, and so that's why you needed a free music video, or
I'm trying to think of what kind of slasher film has a music video in it.
It's totally random. I know.
It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show or something.
I know.
Like that,
actually, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw him. Because what year did that come out?
I don't even know. That was got to be the 80s. That was Tim Curry. And
yeah. Well, when I first saw him, it just reminded me of that for some reason too.
75.
So I was going to say I was 78, but yeah, okay.
It definitely felt.
Yeah, I had that feeling a bit too, but I mean, he still was he was still Jim Carrey a little bit, but I kind of liked him seeing him in sort of that darker space. I guess we'll get to some movies later on when he is in those darker spaces, but this was sort of, well, the video itself was, with the weird, kind of trying to make evil faces, which I thought he does well, but not in a comedic way. No. I didn't actually think they were funny at all. It was, and they were really contorted.
Yeah. He was trying to be as authentic of this rock guy that he could possibly be.
Yeah.
Whether the movie he was in or not was a good one or he was trying to be intense and honest in it. You definitely see some of his characters' faces that he's made. There were some choices that he made as this thing as this musician, but after the terrible lip syncing has been called out.
When that part's over, yeah.
Which definitely he was doing on purpose. It's terribly, Jim, just go in there and lip sync almost correctly.
Yeah.
But be wrong about it.
Yeah.
He did a very good job on that. But then when he comes out of his lip sync, and he goes into his real artist character, the Johnny Squares character, you see some of the stuff he does in this one, you see again in things like Liar Liar, or even some of the things when he gets upset in these movies where it's he snaps. Jim Carrey's actually really good about going from this cool, calm, collected kind of guy to just an 11 with a yelling or just stress.
And you believe it. It doesn't seem fake or made up. It seems real.
It was 100%. Man, he really is having a terrible day as an actor. He's trying to keep it together, and then he's just let me get out of there.
Yeah.
My question is when he goes in to do the drugs in his trailer. I mean, that seemed very authentic. I've never seen anyone actually do heroin before, and I'm curious if he has researched or what he did to figure out.
Real. I thought the same thing.
It looked
just
authentic.
The way he was holding the rubber
and the
rubber band
release.
in his mouth, and I agreed. When I was watching him, I was I wonder if that looks real to me. I would wonder how real that really looks.
I'm curious about if they cut away from it before it's in his arm, but it looks like the needle was actually going to go into his arm, or if it was just pressed in it and they pan up.
Yeah.
And the things actors have to. The things actors have to do. Where it's am I actually going to have to get injected with something?
I don't
think it's just saline. It's just saline solution or something like that.
Yeah, you never know. But I thought he was really good and really authentic in that role.
Yeah. The death scene was actually really well done.
That was good too. I know.
Where he looked like he was really freaking out, didn't know what the hell was happening.
No.
And then the way they were cutting in and out between the camera being confused and then Jim Carrey flailing around.
Yeah.
I thought that was a phenomenal choice and a really well done. One of the things that I was wondering about is, I've done a death scene before, and it's after thrashing around like that, how do you
completely
just stays
how do you actually stop and like make yourself really stop? I thought the same thing too. They kept showing him with his eyes open as a dead person, and I'm like, man, just to not even like twitch your eye just a bit, or something like that.
How
many
takes,
you did.
How many takes does it get, or how does it take to get
not,
that perfectly?
Or to not, like, for me, it's really hard for me not to blink. Like, I have a hard time keeping my eyes wide open. So
how long will we keep the camera on him before we have to pan
and then your
out?
eyes will start, if you keep it open, like your eyes will start watering too. So.
It makes me think. I saw a picture the other day of Randy, our friend Randy from the Chickens That Count. It's where she was playing a comatose.
And she had to keep her eyes open. And she did. She would tear and she would snot and she would like. It was funny. It's harder than it looks.
I know. So he did a good job. I'm curious how many cuts or takes that it took on there, but
they didn't show him for too long. But I mean, I thought it was all good. Yeah, I mean, it was a fairly complex character for being on for a pretty short amount of time.
2-3 minutes for the entire scene.
If you think about it, like quite a few people died in this movie. His had the most. Character development. They had a funeral. He had a girlfriend. They had, there was a lot to it. Everyone else who died after that, like, they would die. They would really die, and we would be like, well, who was that? And then they would come in and say, this is so-and-so.
Sam Worthington. I don't know whatever his name.
So he really was, like, the most important of the dead people in this movie. Like,
he started off the whole Deadpool.
So, I mean, it was a pretty important character. Yeah, exactly. It was a pretty important character for the plot of the movie. Yeah. And for him.
His relationship with the director, not the director, but Liam Neeson's character of the director. I mean, that was honest and heartfelt, where it's like Liam's character knew that he was done, that Jim Carrey's character's done drugs before, that Johnny Squares had done drugs before, and it's like, there was actually a real connection there, and like, it was heartfelt, and then he dies, and Liam's character just doesn't even seem to give a damn at all. Yeah. That was Peter Swan is what his name was. So.
Yeah, there was a moment where you thought, that they kind of, that the director did kind of care about him at least a little bit. I mean, you're right. From then on, he acted like he completely didn't, whether he was lying or just trying to get over it or whatever. I mean, it looked like he was dead. And then they were still shooting later that day while they're like investigating.
Yeah, the police are out there. The guy's
in the trailer, and then he's still shooting in the other building.
Who are they gonna get to replace Johnny Square in the scene?
They're like, okay, forget that scene. Let's just move on to the next scene, and they just keep going.
This movie will get made anyway, no matter what said happens.
That. Yeah. So no, I thought it was nice to see Jim in that kind of role. I really enjoyed him. I thought again, it's just kind of like, it's nice to see when he, we've seen movies that he's done after this, so he can do it. But like up till, I feel like every new one we watch, you're like, oh wow, like he really has grown as an actor. Has he's stretched. He's
even in the
doing new things that you don't necessarily always associate with Jim. Which is interesting too, because I think we're gonna eventually get to the part where he's headlining these movies, and then he goes back a little bit more on the silly side. But I mean, that's kind of his bread and butter, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure. Especially that's what launched him into fame and the common sphere.
Right. Yeah. But I feel like it's nice that these directors or producers or whoever saw in him more than just that silliness and just. I mean, obviously he's still kind of an out there character playing a drug addict rock star. Yeah. But it's still there's still more to it.
Yeah, so. He has a lot in his soul and in that character. So I mean, there's a reason that he became more popular and like got in a lot more movies and then the TV shows and everything like that. I mean, so he's there. He's got the skill. He's got the talent. Yeah. And it's exciting to watch him. I like seeing these movies where he's just a little bit of Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, he definitely will go far. Yeah. Like, even in this movie that if I had seen him when this came out when I was younger, didn't know like Ace Ventura or anything else that was going to come after this and then going into the 90s, like I would have said that there was something about that character that would stick with me, and that particular actor. I was like, who was that? Like, he was kind of
cool.
out there. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
I got that. Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. So,
yeah. I wonder if he was like excited. I mean, I think a lot of times actors are like, you know, it's a double-edged sword. You kind of get to the point where you're like, I'm sort of bored with what I'm doing, you know, whatever that sort of role is. And Jim sort of had that role. I'd like to try new things, and sometimes people don't let you. Sometimes no one hires you to try and stretch and do to that next step. But also at the same time, it's scary because then suddenly you're like, okay, wow, I have to like, you know, I have to develop these acting skills if you don't already have them, or if you haven't used them in a while, to like make those new choices for things like that. So I would have guessed that would have been pretty exciting for him to like have some, you know, new things to work on.
For sure. And it's like also the fact that you get to work with actors like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Who was,
this
is if this is the fifth Dirty Harry movie, he's already has a strong following as an actor, and is already considered one of the main actors and characters of the 80s or the late 70s.
And then
Liam Neeson, I was just looking at what he was going on.
Oh, he was already like big at that point too, I believe.
In 85, he's already played a bunch of stuff on TV in the 70s, a bunch of miniseries, a couple of movies, and then we get into like Miami Vice. He was on it. When was this one? This was 88. So yeah, he'd been around for a while, for a long time before he even got to the Deadpool. So Liam Neeson's a pretty strong actor in this one too.
Yeah.
That stupid ponytail though. That was it was such an 80s ponytail. It's like the hair. It's a rat tail. It was like what you made fun of kids for in elementary.
It did look like a rat tail. It looked like really scraggly and stuff.
It was nasty.
And I swear it didn't look like his real hair. And maybe I don't remember the 80s rat tails that well. I mean, I kind of remember them.
I remember
kids in school had them and stuff.
And junior high.
But I always thought it was a little more short, and then the rat tail, like you could see like his hair was still like you could see his hair, like that part of your hair.
If it wasn't in a ponytail, it would have been the most longest and disgusting mullet that you could possibly imagine. And that's what get me is like I knew what it would look like without it on there, but it was nasty. Just get rid of it. Like that old, why do you want to have just that thing hanging down right there?
Billy Ray Cyrus kind of rat tail thing.
Nasty. Poor. I wonder if that was his choice or the director's choice.
They're like, here, just clip this on.
Yeah. Gross. So what else? Let's talk about.
Well, going back to Jim for real fast too. Like he never, like he probably was so excited to be like with Clint, but like he was like dead when Clint came in. So, I was like, you never really got to act. Yeah, you never really got to like have that, where you look in someone's eyes and you give and take, and you like, bond with someone when you sort of act that way. He had to be dead when Clint came in.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood leaves is like that Jim Carrey guy is really kind of doesn't have much acting skills, a little dead. That was my character choice. Well, sorry, just saying.
It's funny to ask him about that part.
Did
you like acting with Clint? Well, yeah, but I was dead.
Yeah.
So.
And then playing with Liam Neeson, Clint Eastwood. Oh my God, it's Clint Eastwood. Oh.
At least he got to act with Liam.
I really liked the character Samantha Walker, Patricia Clarkson.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out. Man, she has been in a lot of stuff. She's
very familiar.
She's been in recently. She's just been in House of Cards on Netflix.
Okay.
She's done a lot of comedy. She's got a couple of movies announced that she's in. Sell By, whatever that movie was, Out of the Blue. There's a bunch. She's been a busy actress for a long time. But she really had a lot of personality and a lot of great character development and spunk in this movie. Yeah, spunk is no one uses that word enough.
She's spunky.
But she was lighthearted, a little spunky. She, we didn't like her at first because she literally runs into an active crime scene and assaults the widow or the girlfriend of Jim Carrey.
She apologizes for it.
But then
so
she's
then
like,
you like her again.
Was that the exclusive just tries to makes her do crazy things.
I really liked her too. I thought her character was it was a good solid female character in this movie. Like there was she had already been in there, so I knew there was a good female. But there was one point it was like three guys talking, and there was like they had like the secretary sitting there, and I for some reason was watching her, and she was just like watching the scene almost, taking it all. And I was like, it kind of was like so like female. But then she had already been introduced, and then she actually did have a really great role, and I think they and she I mean, she was important in the story all the way through, you know. So I thought it was good.
She wants the exclusive from Dirty Harry.
I thought
the D from Dirty Harry.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought was weird. Is their relationship was a little odd getting started.
Yeah.
It was like she wanted him to go to dinner because she wanted to do that exclusive on him,
right.
and then he like walked out on her, and then she like had a scoop that he kind of needed. Like she knew more about the case basically than he did at one point. And so then he comes to her and then she's like, okay, let's go to dinner again. Like she jumped in on that one pretty easy. Yeah. So, but
give them a second chance. Give each other a second chance.
But then they kept getting in like life-threatening situations together.
Yeah, which definitely will bring people together, I think, in a different way.
Getting shot up in an elevator or whatever that is called, a lift thingy.
So, that's crazy.
What did you think about his partner?
The Evan Kim?
Yes.
Well, I think it's hilarious that they call it out basically in the movie, and it's like what we all notice too. It's like as soon as they introduce him, there's this kind of the publicity guy for the police is like, oh, Chinese American, this will look great for the force. And then like us as audience members, we're all just like, oh.
Don't say
but
that.
then the chief even was like, I was like, oh, thank God.
So yeah, they acknowledge that you don't. That's not a good thing to say or do or whatever.
This is a little racist.
Yeah.
But it's like that wasn't just like bad. I was afraid that it was going to be a line of dialogue that the writers wrote in there, and it was just like, you don't have any idea what you're talking about. But the fact that they acknowledge it and call it out in everything, it's like, oh my gosh, yay, this is brilliant writing.
Now, did you think that was the case throughout the film, though? Because I still felt like when I was listening to some of his lines and what he was saying, he was not really well developed.
No, he was.
He could have been better.
He was.
And then I was like, well, it kind of goes back to what they just said. It was like he's the token Chinese American
Asian guy.
Asian guy who like still probably could have had a more meaningful part.
Yeah, let's look at what his major parts and scenes were in the movie. They're in Chinatown fighting. He gets yelled at by a guy and says, I was in a Chinese gang. And then the next scene is him fighting one of the gunmen with, of course, martial arts. But we don't explain, like, did he learn that in the thing? It's it's just, he's Asian. He knows how to fight martial arts. And then, of course, there's the idea of his grandfather or his dad with the Chinese or markings on him, painting
actually
him
pretty interesting things. They just didn't. I felt like I just wanted to know a little more.
Yeah,
I guess that's what it is.
We could have had a little bit more development with him instead of just having him. Not necessarily.
They worked out together a lot, and they were running together and stuff.
Corbin was saying, "It's like, what are they, roommates? Like they're working out, they're getting some beers."
He was in a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
So like maybe like give us a little bit more background, and I don't know if he was important enough, and they had her in it, so but he was in it enough that we could have known a little bit more about his character.
More development between the two of them. They obviously
but I still enjoyed him.
My take on Dirty Harry is that his partners get killed immediately, or like he doesn't like working with a partner.
Yeah,
and maybe that since this is farther into the series. And like a sequels, and we've had Dirty Harry exist for years at this point. Maybe this was a softer edged Dirty Harry, and was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna have to have a partner. Yes, it's always helped like having a partner,
right?
And so he brings him on, and they become buddies, and they become like actual police partners. Whereas my take was like, I'm not having a partner. Everyone's dead.
That's what you had thought.
So
maybe this is the 5th installment of Dirty Harry. Maybe he has evolved into
a new
accepting somewhat of a partner. Because you're right. In the beginning, I thought he was gonna be like, I don't have partners or whatever. But he sort of took him in right away, and they got along right away. And
I thought they were good partners.
Yeah.
And they watched each other's back a little bit.
Sure.
And when it hit the fan, he was there to kick some butt. I'm trying to cut down on my cursing in case you put this on. I don't want to add the explicit line, but like whatever.
Kick some booty.
Kick some booty. But it's Dirty Harry. I mean, you got some great quips in there.
Yeah, his lines and all that's all good.
Yeah. What else is there we got talking about for this one today? And it's hard to talk about this one just because it's like Jim Carrey was in it for such a short time. And then this is, like I said, 88. So Jim Carrey, I think, was still doing stand-up comedy a little bit, and he was definitely like he's auditioning.
When does In Living Color start for him?
1990 is when.
Okay, so just a couple years after this.
Yeah, that one.
So, but he wasn't on like a TV show or anything yet during this time.
No,
he's done full-time TV show.
No, definitely not. He's got the Once Bitten. He's got Peggy Sue. The Duck Factory, I think, had already canceled or might have been at the tail end of the Duck Factory, which was his TV show. That was.
So he was on a TV show. Was he full time on the Duck Factory, or was he kind of?
He was the lead.
Oh,
he was
he was. Okay.
Yeah, the show was about his character.
Oh, okay.
Duck.
I don't know anything about that.
I know we're probably going to end up watching.
We should watch
at least a couple.
I think it's important for his.
Yeah, it's a workplace comedy. It went from April 12th, 84 to July 11th, 84. But it's like it wasn't even like one full year. It was like one half season or something like that.
Oh, okay. So in '88 he wasn't really on TV. Like you see him in movies and stuff, but you wouldn't have seen him on TV yet. Yeah. Which is so funny. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but like I feel like people really like figured out who he was when he got on In Living Color, just because you see someone weekly then.
Yeah.
But he was really in a lot of movies beforehand.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
I would have never thought that. I would have, if you hadn't told me, I would say he got on In Living Color, maybe from stand-up or maybe a few little things, and then he started his movie career afterwards. I would have never guessed he would have been in Clint Eastwood movies.
A couple of different things.
Or, Peggy Sue Got Married and that kind of stuff. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, and the fact that he's already had one major lead role with Once Bitten, like that was a pretty big step in a career right there. And then like in Living Color, he was one of 2 white actors on In Living Color. In the 90s, so it's like,
which is why
of course you're gonna know who he was at that point.
And he was pretty crazy in that too.
So what else do you think about this one? So
I mean, like I said, there's a lot of killing, and like luckily they didn't show all of it, which is kind of nice. Like I don't like to see really gory stuff. There was a couple bits that were but because the storyline I think was solid and you still were interested in what was happening. It kind of made sense to me. I don't like gratuitous
violence.
No,
it
not
was
really.
Just there. It was existing.
I didn't like when that guy got the spear at the end when the very last scene, and then he like was hanging off the door, like just dead. Like how long do you have to show that? I just personally don't. But I mean I know that's what Clint Eastwood.
It was amazing.
Fans
as soon as we should have known that as soon as there was a harpoon being launched on camera.
Yeah.
Well, not even like because we see
way
it
earlier.
Yeah, we see it way earlier in the film. It's like if we're gonna be following this guy, I should have known that harpoon is gonna be very useful later on.
I know.
I thought when we saw it early in the movie something was gonna happen at that point.
Just because a harpoon is such a random.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't random.
It's at the dogs.
But I mean, it's one of those things, that you would use in a movie to kill people. Yeah, because it's different,
Let's talk a little bit real quick before we wrap it up and everything. The real fun and ridiculous car chase that we got to watch.
Oh, I forgot about that already.
The homage to Bullet, the Steve McQueen movie, where it is Clint Eastwood in being chased by a remote control car through the hills of San Francisco. It was good. It was kind of an intense car chase.
It's totally different than what you normally would see. It's kind of almost funny because it's such a little car, even though it'll blow them up.
Yeah, it's a deadly car.
Yeah.
But the guy driving the RC car also is an amazing driver.
So he's like while he's going through doing he's got to drive both at the same time. The little stick shift with one hand, like this.
Chasing after it, you just go that direction. But at the same time, he was doing some sweet moves on that.
I know,
flipping it around, 180s, 360s,
totally,
like freaking wheelies at the end.
Yeah, they were jumping over the hills.
I kind of wish they had hit the construction guy's head in the when he was coming out of the manhole.
Yeah, I know that would have been
ramped
funny.
it so quick.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I didn't think they were going to get him in the end. I thought they were going to outrun him the whole time, and then they actually did get blown up.
Yeah, which is like, man, this particular.
And it was kind of weird. I mean, they were just sitting there.
Somehow
I kept thinking he would run over it or something.
I know. Somehow the wheel or something it caused the thing not to explode as bad as it did in the first one.
Because it was right in front of the wheel instead
of
underneath the middle.
The rubber might have caught some of the
that's what it was.
explosion.
That's what it was showing. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what's your rating of the Deadpool? Not the one with Ryan Reynolds, but this one.
This one's the Deadpool.
This is the Deadpool,
that one's
not
just
Deadpool,
right? Yeah, okay. Okay, what is it? I'd say it's, I mean, I always give really high ones, and I always feel bad, but
I think this is a good,
if I, for what it was, again, not necessarily my genre, but for what it was, totally was okay watching it. Totally would probably watch it again just because there were some cool parts in it. I'd say like an 8.
Yeah.
8.5 maybe. Yeah. I thought it was well done. Yeah. It was pretty dark a lot of the time. And some of the camera work's a little funny, but that was the 80s.
I think that was the time. The amount of light and exposure we can get on cameras now for dark scenes is so much different than.
Sometimes when it gets dark, 80s. I'm like, I don't even see what's going on.
I mean, this room that we're in is pretty bright. We have the lights on.
That's true.
And windows open and everything like that. So I mean, if you give it an 8, I'm probably right there with you, 7.5, 8. Mm-hmm. For Jim Carrey's performance, which is the point of us watching this, what he did was authentic and true, and yet still funny, but not. I mean, it was a grounded character.
Right.
So I mean, I give his character performance a 9.
I'd give it a 9 too. Totally.
And the movie overall was a fun, dirty. I've never seen Dirty Harry, so I really enjoyed it.
We got to go watch the other ones.
I know. We got to go back in time.
Yeah.
That's a spinoff. That's our spinoff show. Check us out on that one next time. But I think a 7.5, 8. Reviews are 4.5 stars, 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. But I think it holds up.
It's not as well rated as I would have thought it would be, but I think it is good. Maybe just because it's older.
For a 1988 movie, it holds up very well.
I think it does too. I almost forgot it was 80s a lot of the time, except for kind of the hair and stuff. But
the sunglasses.
It was the sunglasses. Well, the songs in the beginning and the end were just such 80s songs, just the way they introed it and then the way they closed it. But honestly, during the middle, I know they kept playing Welcome to the Jungle and all that stuff. But we know that and I like that. Yeah. So it didn't feel old to me, but it's the intro and closing music felt very 80s.
This is definitely an 80s
But
movie.
in the middle, it didn't bother me. No. I didn't feel it's too 80s,
It definitely holds up. I think it's good. So
yeah.
Awesome. This was a fun movie. I really enjoyed watching this with you. Right. Just like I have enjoyed watching all of our movies together.
Even good. Like I said, every time it's just totally different. Good job, Jim, because you did a lot of good different things that will bring us enjoyment.
And this is going to be a much different movie than next week or next time that we watch. So the next movie that we're going to be watching is Earth Girls Are Easy.
Okay.
Where
I've heard of that for years.
We'll tell you that Jim Carrey plays a fuzzy alien.
I would have guessed alien.
It's gonna be Gina Davis is in it. It's super fun.
Maybe I've seen parts of it, but I definitely haven't seen the whole thing.
What's his name? Jeff Goldblum is in it, so it's a super fun movie.
Can't wait to see it.
That'll wrap it up for today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the Jim Carrey Project with me, Brian Kondrach, and
Carrie Grant.
This has been a lot of fun. We really appreciate you guys watching. Check out our other videos. You can also now find this in audio form on anywhere you can get podcasts. So check that out. Just look for the Jim Carrey Project, and write reviews. Like the video, subscribe to us, do all those things that you have to do.
You know what to do.
And come check us out next time. Thanks again, guys. A special thanks to Corbin Russell for doing our sound again today. We couldn't do that this show without. Well, we could, but we don't want to. So now I'm just going on.
We love him.
I'm just rambling on and on. Anyway, thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. You guys have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.